Hello, it's Kyle here with your Fiverr gig. And first of all, I just wanted to say thanks for the gig. I always enjoy doing these website videos, and especially this time, I like specialty sites and niche sites like this. It's always interesting to get into the inner workings of what makes these little niches unique and, and oftentimes successful. I noticed that on websites, the more you tend to specialize in niche, oftentimes the more successful websites are, just because you can really fine tune and hone your services to serve a very specific segment of a market, or of a, for instance, you sell. It looks like oftentimes electronic stuff. Uh, Obviously, in regards to I forget what you call them, not contractors, but I know it was on the about page. I'm at a loss for words tonight, but surveying. That's it. Yes, I don't know why. Sometimes words come easier than other times. So you offer surveying equipment, and it looks like it tends to be in specifically the electronics segment of that. I guess it's all become electronics. I think some of our founding fathers were surveyors. Maybe George Washington was. I don't think he had this technology, but somehow they still got the job done. Anyhow, I digress. But let's talk about your strategy and your approach here, and ways to potentially even make a good thing even better. You mentioned that your site's doing well, and I think that's always important to build on your successes and really focus on what's working, and expand upon those things, as opposed to focusing on what's frustrating or what isn't working and those sorts of things. So first of all, great job. It looks like you followed your intuition with building this site. It's simple, it's easy to use, it's well laid out, it's logical, intuitive. All those words come to mind when I look at your site. And again, I think the performance of your site really speaks volumes to its decent design and things like that. You could talk about hiring a developer, or a designer, or something to that effect, and polishing up the graphics and making it look uber modern and those sort of things. But really, in niche sites like this, those sorts of things don't matter too much. It is good to update your site once every few years. There are younger surveyors and younger people in your industry who will be more attracted to a site that's a little bit more cutting edge, and really a site that maybe reflects what you're doing in the background, as far as your company mission and your company values. Are you up to date in what you're offering with your products? Are you offering the latest and best stuff? Your graphics and your marketing should reflect that as well. Maybe you're not a big marketing and a visual advertising kind of guy, but the idea stands that it doesn't hurt to have a developer on hand, and they can be had relatively cheaply in terms of freelancers and things like that. But your design's good. It's a little bit maybe understated. If I wanted to say anything about it, you could do a little bit more to make it a little bit more visual and things like that. But again, what really matters is, can your customers find what they're looking for? And that sounds like on the large scale they are. So you're doing request pricing. Okay. So, all right. So we go ahead and click into a page. We're given the overview. We've got the technicals. It's obviously you're not selling products maybe right from here, or at least this product. But they're getting all the information. You're generating leads, and I'm sure this is probably not an inexpensive piece. So it's probably a good idea that you are referring this to a human who can be much more apt to help close that sale, if you know what I mean. So again, it looks like you're doing everything right as far as your sales process goes. Your website is very often the beginning of your sales funnel, depending on the industry, depending on what you do. Sometimes a website in its entirety is the sales funnel. In this case, looks like you have some human interaction, which is perfectly fine. Again, just sort of confirming what you're doing and saying that you're on the money with your sales processes here and things like that. The one thing I wanted to talk about is really, I'd imagine that in this industry, you're probably pushing the envelope in your segment as far as a high quality website, all of this information available in one place in an easy to use format. You're probably kicking everybody else's ass in that format, if you know what I mean. So it's probably one of the reasons of your advantage and why you're actually closing these sales, and that's excellent, because obviously you're doing something your competitors won't, or haven't, or have been too lazy to do, or oftentimes in industries like this, in specialized industries, people can tend to get lazy because this is the way it's always been done, and this is the way we've always done it, and so we don't need websites. We'll mail you our catalog, our paper catalog. I'm sure you see that a lot in your industry, where these people just want to mail a catalog, and as you know, that's really not cutting it anymore. So talking into that a little further, you have a place with great information. You have a place with all of the information that you need. I'm assuming there's some people in your organization that know about more about these things than probably almost anybody else in the country or the world for that matter. I don't know how big of an area you service, but pushing this envelope, what got you here is probably going to be what gets you to the next level of your business, which is pushing that envelope as far as providing high quality content, great information at their fingertips, all of their information in one place. And let's see what happens when we hit request pricing. Just one second. Okay, so we're presented with a form. Is there a phone number here? Can you have a call in? That was a bit of a tangent, but I don't know. It seems like phone is a powerful thing too, if it's during normal business hours and so on. But moving back here before I click that, a little bit of an ADD moment there. But pushing that envelope of really making it easy for the people to buy, lubricating the sales process, as I like to call it. Have you thought about video? What have you thought about maybe setting up a camera in the shop, having somebody who's knowledgeable make one video per day? Hey, it's Bob with Canal Geomatics, and today we wanted to talk about the KVH DSP 1750. This new product, came out in September, and we've had a chance to work with it now for about 6 months, and our overall review of it is, it's pretty good. Here's a few things you want to be aware of as to whether or not you should upgrade or not. Typically, that would be how a good video intro would go. You think about that, as far as one, video gets ranked in Google searches very well. Video is a hot commodity in terms of content. Content is king on the web, so you have good content in the written word. I would suggest you follow up and follow through with it with video. Whoever it is that's doing video at your shop, they're probably not good at video right now. And the analogy I like to use for that is you weren't good at riding a bike either, but until you started practicing one day. So get somebody good on video. You get a decent camera. Most smartphones have a good camera. Quality audio is important. You can buy iPhone lavalier microphones that plug right into a smartphone. Just type in, go to Amazon and do lavalier microphone for iPhone, and you'll find the ones that plug right into it, and they sound terrific. I use them for all my videos, and as you can tell, the audio quality for this is sufficient, and it reduces a lot of background noise and things like that. So, I really want to hammer home the idea of video here. It will extend that lubricating the sales process that much further. It will put you, instead of feet ahead or inches ahead of your competitors, it will put you miles ahead of your competitors in terms of it's actually what will happen on a subconscious level with the people who watch these videos. They're going to feel like they've already spent time with people at your company. And if you're an honest company that operates from integrity, they're going to get a good feeling of trust and rapport with your company, and you haven't done anything but spent 15 minutes of Bob's time to make this video. If you begin to catch my drift, it is such an investment. And yes, that video may only be relevant for a year or two, but even as time goes on, there will be people who will be searching for the KVH DSP 1750, looking for a used model or something, and they're going to do a search in Google, and they're going to find your video because it's going to rank higher than a lot of other people's websites. You might even get that KVH DSP 1750 video to outrank the people who make the website or who make the KVH DSP 750. Their website, you may outrank their website with your video. It's weird like that. Video has a power in terms of Google search, and as you know, Google search is a very important aspect of running an online business. So. I know I went on a bit of a rant there about video, but again, I think it's very important. It would be very valuable for you to do. You probably won't see results in the first month. You might not see results for the first 6 months, but as you continue to do that and get a database built up, and there are ways to keyword your YouTube video library, just like you would with your articles and your pages. I hope you've SEO'd your pages. I don't know if you have or not. Typically, when you write good content, your keywords are already in there. Dual axis, DSP 1750. Those sorts of things will keyword for you, but there are meta tags and certain things that you want to fill out in your articles in the back end of your website when you're making articles. I can't quite tell what this is built on. Is this just a PHP website, or is it built on a content management system? However, if you haven't done search engine optimization on your website yet, it would definitely be good to do that in lieu of setting up for this video strategy. When you work with your search engine expert, tell them you're getting ready to do a video push, and that you're going to be making a few videos a week, and you got a guy at the shop, Bob's going to do them for you, and you might even want to freelance a video expert to brand them and do a little musical intro. Don't make it more than a second or two. You can flash your logo if you want, but people get lost in those branded logo intros and all the music and the fluff. But really what people want to do is get right to the content, and oftentimes I'll save my own logo intros to the end. just because I really want to hit them with the content so we don't lose them. We get a chance to really communicate some value quickly to them. So, there's a whole nother aspect of video marketing that, that we can get into, but I think that might be a relatively feasible strategy for you going forward. If you're getting a few hundred searches a month for these sorts of things, if you can go to Google AdWords and Google Analytics and search and see how many people are searching for the KVH DSP750, I bet you there's a few hundred people a month searching for it, and then that would tell you enough that there are sufficient searches for you to warrant making videos about them, and most importantly, giving your own experience about them. Surely you have customers in the field that give you feedback as far as, is this product any good? Are you getting a lot of returns on them? You begin to catch how this whole thing works. You're dealing with a business to business. It's different. It's different how you market on the web. You probably see websites that, hi, we're digital marketing experts, and we love Facebook, and Twitter's how you make a bunch of money on the internet, and this is what digital marketing is all about. Well, guess what? You're B2B, and that's a whole different strategy than what you do with B2Cs, business to consumers. Twitter, Facebook. I see you have a Facebook icon. I don't know if it's worth your time doing Facebook, to be honest with you. It's good that you have a page. It's good that you have it up because Google can rank those pages, and people can go to your Facebook page and then go to your website. So make sure you have a lot of links on your Facebook page going to your website. Click here for new product updates. Those sorts of enticing leads that people want to go find out more on your website. From your Facebook page, but you're probably not going to get a lot of customers from Facebook just because you're a B2B. There's nothing romantic about what you do. There's nothing sensational. At least I don't think so, and that would be my suggestion. I have an industrial company that I manage their digital properties for. They manufacture lighting equipment for industrial purposes. There's nobody on Facebook talking about that company or industrial lighting. It just doesn't happen. There's a company called LinkedIn. I'm sure you've heard of them. That may be a way to do it. I'm exploring that right now with them. LinkedIn is something that we're going to take a look at and see if it's something that may be of benefit to them. I can't tell you one way or the other personally. I've heard of a lot of businesses doing well on LinkedIn, but again, I don't know. Everybody's trying to sell you this and that about what works and what doesn't. All I can tell you is what's worked for me, and Facebook for B2B is probably not the best strategy. So again, it's good that you have a page. It's good that you update it and put your new products on there. Just make it part of your routine, but I wouldn't spend a lot of time and effort on it just because of that. Again, search engine optimization is going to be king for you. I'm really making sure all of your keywords are put in properly. An SEO expert will help you do that. It shouldn't cost a lot of money. For a 3 to 6 month gig with an SEO guy, I know a great one. If you want to plug in with him, he'll optimize your site, make sure your products are coming up and searching well, and making sure that your site is optimized to get good search rankings via the Google crawlers and web bots and all the crazy stuff that they use to rank websites. There's a lot that goes involved in that, and I just barely scratched the surface, but there are guys that's what they do all day long. So I refer to their authority, and I think that brings up an important point that it's great to ask for help, to do what you do best, and let other people do what they do best and bring everybody together to make an awesome thing. It sounds like you do that already, or else you probably wouldn't see the success you have been, unless you're already a great web developer, which maybe you are. In that case, I commend you even further. However, yeah, so that closes out the video segment of what I wanted to talk about. Let's jump into the next concept, and this is something that I wanted to jump into, sort of another rabbit hole, so to speak. This is what I call a lead capture mechanism on your website. I don't see, or did I see? I look at a lot of websites these days. I review a lot of websites, so forgive me if this one is blending with the other one. Let's go into the About Us page. Let's go into knowledge base. Okay, I don't see anything that's jumping out at me. Okay, so what I don't see is a place where people can enter their name and email address in exchange for information. Here's the thing. When you know your customer, and by knowing your customer, I mean understand their pains and their aspirations. And by pains, I mean what are their fears about buying equipment? Do they have equipment now that maybe that's inaccurate? Maybe they're not getting good readings. Maybe it's costing them a lot of time and effort by having to set up this junk equipment that isn't working properly. But maybe they're afraid they can't afford to buy new equipment. Maybe they're not sure what equipment to buy. What equipment's going to help them in the long run to really be, to set up a good surveying business. I don't know how competitive this industry is, surveying, across the country. I know that, there's a lot of state-funded work as far as how they pay and hire surveyors to go out and do work to survey certain land. I really don't know a lot about the industry, to be honest with you, but I'm sure there are certain pockets in the industry. There are certain areas and there are certain topics in the industry, I'll just call them, that are pain spots for people in that industry. The tools that a workman uses are that's really he's spending a lot of time of his life with those tools, probably more than he's spending with his family when you begin to add the hours up. So he's spending more time with these gadgets than his family. So shouldn't they be the best that they can be? And so you begin to get an idea of a sales pitch, a bit of a sales language that can come out of this knowing your customer, so to speak. What are their pains, and also what are their aspirations? I would argue that their aspirations are to get the job done right, get it done early, save money, and make money. Those sorts of things. So when we know what they don't want, and we also know what they want, we can sort of motivate them and orient them to move towards, ideally the solution, which is the good equipment that you sell and recommend. Ideally, and I hope you only sell the equipment that you trust and rely in, and stuff you would use yourself, basically, just from an integrity standpoint. But that's a whole other story. So when you understand those needs, when you can speak to your customer in that way, you can create an offer, which is a downloadable PDF document. It can be a video training. It could be anything like that to be, you can call it the successful surveyor. Download this guide and learn the top 10 reasons why surveyors succeed or fail in this, in the modern world, in the technology economy that we're in. Whatever technology is obviously evolving this industry, I'm sure, as much as it is any other industry. So there's something to be said for that, and to help people cope and adapt to that, and really help them get the right equipment, to not spend money. I'm sure there are tons of surveyors out there who've bought equipment that they don't need, who've wasted money, and those are the sorts of things that make them leery to buy again. And when you can help them overcome that by helping them become more informed and more empowered purchasers, they automatically attribute you with trust and rapport, and they're more inclined to do business with you. So those are the sorts of things that really begin to make powerful connections and really build a strong and loyal customer base. If your delivery, if the back end of your company after the sale is as solid as the front end of your business, if you're delivering on time, and if you have products in stock, and your support is good, and your warranties stand up, if all those things are as solid as your front end, you probably already have a reliable customer base. But obviously the goal is to bring that reliability and that in that relationship to the front end, to show that you're a real company with real people, and that you stand behind what you sell, and that you're here to make their life easier and allow them to get back out in the field and make money and do good work. So hopefully that begins to give you a big picture of where I'm headed with this. Really what I do is, there's a portion of our industry in the internet marketing world that all of these things have been used for the last 5 to 6 years. I've seen businesses make so much money with these tools that it's just stupid. It turns your website into an automated lead sales generating machine that runs all the time. It's next to having an ATM machine right beside your house that just prints money. If you know what I mean. It's like having a money mint in your house. So when you bring in these automation devices, when you bring in a lead capture system that allows you to gather names and email addresses in exchange for this download, and they get this PDF download, and they sit and they spend 20 minutes reading this download, that's all about helping them become more informed and empowered as far as being a better purchaser of this technology, and really being a better surveyor in general, which I'm sure somebody in your organization has that knowledge, and that you can bring that together and share it. That kind of stuff, when you build that sort of relationship and that strong connection with people, you begin to again build a loyalty that pays off, not just today, not just tomorrow, but really down the long term side of things. But once you have their name and email address, which I'd imagine you have a significant list from your sales already. I don't know. It doesn't look like you're doing sales online directly, so maybe you don't have email addresses that you're collecting. If you don't, you probably should, and this is why I really brought up this lead capture setup here. If you look in the document, I'm going to put in some information about lead capture, so you can read through that after you watch this video as well. But so the lead capture thing. Once you have names and email addresses, you can set up automatic systems that deliver in what's called a drip feed. In 24 hours, you send out an automatic email, and this is all programmed. You program it in. It's easy to do. It's simple software. It costs you about $10 a month. I'll also link that below in the document. But you plug that in. You set it up to send out an email in 24 hours. Hey, how did your guide go? Did you get to read it? I understand that that it can be being a surveyor, you can be busy, and it's tough to find time to to learn about new equipment and stay on the cutting edge. But it wasn't until our one client upgraded his equipment that he started doing more accurate surveys, booking better jobs, and really taking his business to the next level. Every businessman wants to take his business to the next level. That's just one of those things, right? So I don't know if you're selling to governments. I don't know who you're selling to, but somebody there are purchasers. There are people buying this stuff naturally, or else you wouldn't be in business. So think about that. What does that mean to you? What kind of communication and information can you extend to them that will begin to create that value? It's a value exchange system. We think of a value exchange as you have a product, they give you money. There's your value exchange. Well, oftentimes you can lubricate that process. There I go again with the word lubrication, but you can lubricate that process by having your first transaction as an email address in exchange for a valuable document or a valuable bit of information that you have that you want to share. And so again, you capture their information and you have a chance to sell them many, many, many times. And of course, build a relationship with them most importantly. But I don't know if I have the statistics on this. I've been saying this a while now. I could probably fact check it. But I'm pretty sure that the visitors that come to your website for the first time, I don't think they're likely to buy the first time. They're not likely to call. They're not likely to make a purchase. So it's imperative that we try to capture their information and, of course, always use it for good, to use it to build a relationship and use it to encourage them to do business with you. That first visitor that comes to your site, when you get those new visitors for the first time, you want to be able to leverage that as much as you can, because oftentimes they might not come back. The next time they do a search, they're not going to remember the words that they use. They're going to try a different search. They're going to get another website. They wish they had found your website, but they didn't. Here's another website. They look okay. I'm going to call them because I'm in a hurry and I don't have time to go look for Canal Geomatics again because I can't remember the name of them, and that's just how it goes. So the lead capture is important. It's something that every business website should have, in my opinion, and it's something that doesn't take a lot of time to set up, and the payoffs can be exponential. So I'm going a little long here in this video. Hopefully this is beneficial to you. So I'm going to wrap it up with my my third and final topic, and that's what I call humanizing your website. And really, we talk about video, having Bob on camera talking about products and giving good information about who this product's right for, and also who this product isn't right for. That's just as important. Acting on behalf of the best interest of the customer. We've all seen those, the sleazy car salesman, right? This car is the car for you, and he doesn't really care about your needs or your wants or your budget. He just wants to get that car out of there by the end of the month so his boss doesn't yell at him. Well, being on the side of the customer and saying this is probably your best bet, or maybe you don't want to go with this one, that sort of thing. Acting on behalf of the best interest of your customer is the human thing to do, if you know what I mean. It transcends the sale, it transcends the money, and ironically, that's when life begins to get good, and is when we don't worry about the money, and we do it just to help others out, and somehow the money's always there to back us up. So anyhow, humanizing your website, being human on your website, and just acting with compassion and putting Bob on the website. I go to your about page and I don't see your team. I don't see a picture of you guys. I don't see your faces. I want to connect with people. I like to do business with people I know, people I like, and people that I trust. And this really connecting with humans is who and how I do that. Don't be afraid if you're not some big corporate so-and-so like your competitors are in some shiny corporate office. The money you save in rent by not having a big giant building in the industrial park is a great sales tactic and a great sales tool, because you're not there to fund a big giant corporate office. You're here to do to do good work and provide good products at a fair price. So maybe you do have a nice office. If you want to show that in here too. But you begin to see how it doesn't matter how big you are. Just really what matters is the quality of service, the quality of your products, and really how much you care. People want to do business, again, with people they know, they like, and they trust. So take that home with you, chew on that for a while, and think about what that means to really bring a level of humanity to your website. And if you do these things, again, it's not going to put you inches or feet ahead of your customers, or your competitors. It's going to put you miles ahead of your competitors and probably keep you ahead of this game for years and years to come, just because this is a relatively closed off market that's not hyper competitive. That's my assumption. Maybe I shouldn't assume, but just by seeing what else I've seen in specialized industries like this, you're probably not like McDonald's and Wendy's or Coca-Cola and Pepsi, where there's a bit of a really stiff competition going on that level. So that's all I have for this video. I do hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it. If there's anything I can help you with, if you want me to help you put that lead capture system together, I typically deal in strategy. I have programmers and developers that can help plug in the technical side of things. If you need any help with that, I am at your service. That is what I do on the other side of my business. If you have any other questions, or if there's anything I mumbled through that I wasn't clear enough about, go ahead and feel free to ask. And I wish you the best of luck, and I hope to hear from you. All right, we'll see you. Bye-bye.